Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Scary Stories by the Campfire. Hold on a second for something. There we go. I had an echo going on. We are your counselors tonight, Jeremy.
And Jason.
And give me like 2 seconds. For some reason, the cameras decided to do some weird little flip on us, but that'll be fixed momentarily. You know, it's the Curse of Silent Hill still following behind us, I believe.
No, it's just our movie tonight. Is it real, or is it just a dream? What they say? What they say in the trailer, Jeremy? What is this? Is this a nightmare or is it fantasy?
Is it Phantasm?
It's both of them. Yeah, it's both. Today's movie is Phantasm.
Oh yeah, and it's definitely going to be a wild ride. So Jason,
What do we got? We got five
four,
movies in this series.
four, I believe.
Just four.
I'm oblivion. No, there are five. There's
Thought-
Phantasm.
there's
There's
five.
Phantasm 2, Phantasm 3, Lord of the Dead, Phantasm 4, Oblivion. That's the one I always forget, and Phantasm Ravager, which is 5. And then Ravager is
Yep.
the last one.
I literally have the Wikipedia page open right now, and I didn't even bother to look over to see
I know.
what it was.
So, what did you think, Jason, of one of my favorite horror series start-offs?
This is by far. I mean, I've never seen this movie, and so when we watched it, that was actually the first time I had ever seen it, and it is by far one of the weirdest movies I'd ever seen. I don't quite understand it. If this was like a solo movie, like do they explain anything in like the later movies? I hope they explain stuff in the later movies.
Yeah, kind of.
Uh,
They do go into a little more detail about what exactly the tall man is and where he comes from and how he creates midgets. Or in this movie, dwarves.
Jawas.
That's what they look like. They look like little Jawas.
They look like little Jawas in their little cloaks and whatnot. But yeah, this is the first time I've seen this movie, and I don't quite understand it. I'll probably have to go back and do a little bit of research on it. All I know is it had to deal with this town, and apparently it just centered around a cemetery and said sex in a cemetery. And an old guy who could lift up coffins by himself, and dwarves, and pervy little kids, and yeah, that's
What? That was it?
no. I got a text message. But yeah, no. The movie's really weird because they don't. I don't think they actually ever quite explain what's going on. Like for the first portion of the movie, you're just trying to figure out who is this tall man, which is what he's referred to as the tall man.
He's referred to that in
And
every movie too. They don't ever. They just refer to him as the tall man.
and let me tell you, this guy, he has a walk. He has
Oh,
a strut.
he's got a
When he's
walk
coming,
with purpose.
when
I
he's
wish I had
coming
a
for
video
you,
to show it.
if he's coming for you, he is coming for you with purpose. And apparently he I guess he comes from some sort of red planet or some sort of other dimension. They call it a planet. Now, I don't know if this guy is strictly an alien or if it's just a boundary between
If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've seen the sequels, but I believe, excuse me, he's an interdimensional entity. So really helps with that. But
All right, let's
you can definitely tell that this movie is um, definitely
his
made in the
name.
70s.
Oh God, Jeremy, he actually has a name.
Oh, the tall man?
Yeah, let me see here. I wanna. His name is Jebediah Morningside.
Yes. Okay, so that's getting into the later one. It's either two or three. They actually kind of go into how he becomes the tall man.
Hmm.
Like that's for a later podcast. Definitely for a later podcast.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what they don't really.
Yeah, it's
Okay, yeah, this is a lot to read.
yeah. There's a lot of lore with this movie. That's why you read before the podcast, Jason, not during.
Yeah. Hey, here's something funny. The character Captain Phasma from Star Wars series was named so because, according to J.J. Abrams, the metallic appearance of Captain Phasma reminded him of the tall man's metallic spheres.
That's cool. Here's one for you. This is quite funny, actually. The director, Don Coscarelli, the creator of it, he
Mm-hmm.
rented all of his filming equipment used to make this movie always on Friday so he could use it all weekend and return it on Mondays, all while only actually having to pay for 1 day of rental.
No, if you're gonna do it right, do it right. Make it the easiest thing possible, right?
um,
But yes, this movie did have a very this movie
'79.
came out in 79. I thought it was a little bit earlier than that. Oh, Star Wars came out in like what, 77, I think.
Yeah.
We were talking about something. But yeah, so this movie was definitely a product of the 70s. I'm just going to be bluntly honest, the acting in it was very kind of hit and miss.
Oh
Some of it
yeah,
would
some of
made
it was
some of it some
terrible.
of it was some of it was good. Some of it was almost like room level, like if you put it in the room, it would fit right in there. You wouldn't even know.
But I think that's what makes it such a fun movie. You know,
Yeah.
it's so for anybody who doesn't know kind of what this movie's about. After the death of a guy named Tommy, who is friends with the main character's older brother and the ice cream man Reggie. The older brother is Jody, and Mike is the main character. He's the younger brother. Uh, Mike sees what they call the tall guy or the tall man, and he picks up Jody's coffin, or not Jody's coffin.
Mm-hmm.
Picks up Tommy's coffin, picks it up just off the ground and puts it into his hearse, and he drives off with it. And like the whole premise of this movie is Mike trying to figure out what the tall man is up to with the coffin, because I guess his parents are actually buried in the same funeral home. Um, and he's snooping around the cemetery and the mortician and all that. He comes
Mm-hmm.
and they find like these weird dwarf creatures in the
Mm-hmm.
in the uh, cemetery in the funeral home, and it's the funniest thing in the world because they just like run around screaming and growling, and they just
Yeah,
appear at random. Like the man was sitting under the car working on it, and they just started running around the car.
that was that was my favorite one of my favorite scenes in this movie was when the younger brother was spying on the older brother, and he followed him to the bar. And the older brother picks up this chick who killed Tommy in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Um, so he picks her up, and she's really hankering to,
Get the booty.
yeah, out there in the cemetery because apparently that's the only place people sleep around in. Um, and they're out there getting ready to start, and the little brother Mike was Mike, right?
Yeah,
Mike
the
was
little
the
brother's the
younger
Mike.
brother.
Jody is.
Jody was
Yeah,
the older
Jody
one.
is the older
Well,
one.
Mike's peeping through the branches, and some of the camera angles were really weird. Like he was sitting there, and he's like, "Yeah," you see like from like Jody's angle, from like Jody's view, and he takes the girl's top off and get to see her boobs, and from Mike's perspective, you get to see it from Mike's perspective. He's like, "Yeah," and it's like, "There's no way you can see anything, kid. Not from the angle you're standing. There is nothing can be seen. All you're seeing is your brother's butt, okay? And I don't even want to know what's, just yeah." And all of a sudden he starts hearing this like rustling in the bushes behind him, and he kind of wanders off, and all of a sudden one of those dwarves attacks, one of those Jawas, and he turns around and just hollers and does a straight scream. "Ah!" And he's just arms flailing running. He beeline right past like his brother and this woman. And he says, "Ah!" And the brother just like lifts his head. He's like, "Huh? Oh, that's my brother." And then he gets up and proceeds to chase him with this woman's underwear in his mouth, mind you. He just ran off with it in his mouth. And I'm just like, is this just normal? This is just normal. It's like, you know, not gonna like berate the little brother for like, "Oh, why are you spying on me, you creep?" No, it's like, I don't believe there was nothing in the woods.
Man, okay, so that little brother broke a lot of stuff in this movie. I'm just gonna
He
say.
broke a lot of stuff.
I'm just gonna say, like, he broke the stairs twice.
Oh yeah, the bars on the stairs.
Um, Somehow he managed to get his hands on a shotgun shell, which he taped a tack and a hammer to, and he shot a hole through his door.
Yes, yes, he did.
Just
He
to.
he was How old was he? Was he like 13? I think he was like 13,
Yeah, probably
if I
something like
remember.
that.
If he was very he's very smart for his age. I mean, he was the one working on the vehicle. At one point, I think he was driving the vehicle. He
He
drives the
was.
vehicle because he whipped up, and we're like, "Oh my god, he's flying through!" And I thought it was like the older brother and like Reggie in there. They're whipping around corners, going like 90, probably in like a 45, and they whip up into the house, and then the boy gets out of the younger brother, the 13-year-old gets out of the driver's seat. I'm going, wait, what? Did they just like film that wrong where they just got out of the wrong seats? But no. Lo and behold, the little boy is driving.
Well, duh.
He's got to drive. Someone's got to do something about it because it sure ain't Jody. Jody is, well, Jody's Jody. Dun, 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 dun. So,
So the flying ball scenes were simple special effects. The sphere was thrown from behind the camera by a baseball pitcher, and then the shot was printed in reverse. The ball attaching itself to the caretaker's head was filmed by sticking it on his head, pulling it off, and printing the shot in reverse.
oh, wait, that was the caretaker? Really? That was who that guy was? They never gave that guy a name.
I guess.
Mm. Ravenfire says, he's a crazy driver, but wow, is he a good mechanic? Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna give the movie props because that kid was very inventive in ingenuitive. Is that even a word? That's not a word. Um,
So here you
no,
go.
he was very smart though.
I got one for you. So you remember the bed scene, right? The nightmare where the kid like wakes up and the tall man's like,
Hovering over him
and
or
then
kind of standing.
yeah, guy's arms spread out and the arms like come up and grab him, pull on him, pull him
Mm-hmm.
down.
Yeah, little dwarf arms.
So that iconic bed nightmare sequence was ranked number 25 on the cable channel Bravo's list of the 100 top 100 scariest movie moments.
That was a scary moment.
I mean, for something in the
God,
70s, it probably would be. It's like Friday the 13th, you know? It's.
oh my God. Either my like horror level has been so dulled down that like almost nothing scares me. It's like this is by far the scariest. What was The Exorcist?
Yeah, it's considered one of the scariest movies ever made.
Consider one of the scariest movies. Now I only made it about halfway through because I got tired and fell asleep. That's horrible. But I'm sitting there, I'm watching, I'm like, okay, this is supposed to be scary. And the
It made
scariest
people
thing
leave
about
the
it,
theater.
yeah, yeah, but the scare, and I mean, yes, is a product of its time. It was probably really scary then, and nowadays for a lot of people, it's still very frightening. But I'm sitting there watching it, and the scariest thing for me was them doing the medical procedures on her. They're sticking the needles in her neck and stuff. I'm like, oh God, this is horrifying. But other than that, like I said, I was halfway through the movie. I'm like, oh God, I'm just gonna turn it off. And so
What's funny
so
is
I mean,
there's also a couple references to Dune. Not Doom, but Frank Herbert's Dune in this movie. You've never seen the movie or read the book, have you?
I have neither read nor seen the movie. Shame on me for not seeing Dune, but
Well, the old movie, there's
but
it's actually a remake.
actually it's kind of funny because I was watching it I was watching this movie with Ravenfire, and I do believe she did make a reference to Dune. If I'm not mistaken, she can correct me on the chat, on the stream chat there, but I'm pretty sure when we were watching it, she had made a comment that something in the movie had referenced Dune, like, oh, it's very Dune like or something like that.
Well, the bar was named Dune.
Was the bar named Dune?
Yeah. And then the scene where Mike has to put his hand in the box,
Mm-hmm.
that's another test in the book. That's where he
What
get.
was the line in that scene?
Uh, don't be afraid, something like that.
Like it's only fear or something like that.
Uh,
Fear is. 'Cause isn't there a line like in Doom where it's like fear is the mind slayer or something? I could have sworn when she was starting to say something to him about fear, it kind of, that's like really the only thing I think I know about Dune, and that is only because um uh it's referenced in League of Legends. I think Urgot says it. He says a line, or maybe he used to. I don't know if he still says it or not since they changed him, but he said a line, and
Look, to be
it's
fair,
I guess it's a reference to Dune, and that's the only reason I know it. So thank you, League of Legends, for helping me understand Dune.
the only real line that I truly remember was towards the end of the movie from the tall man where he's like, "You play a good game, boy, but the game is finished. Now you die."
Now you die.
Or boy.
Boy. That's why he kept calling him boy. Um let's talk about the tall man, Jeremy. Let's talk about the
Angus
tall man.
Scrim. When
I'm gonna ask you one question. I want you to give me a yay or a nay. Do you want him in Dead by Daylight? Yes,
but
make
my
it happen.
but my survivor has to be Reggie.
Yeah, the survivor definitely has to be Reggie. First of all, you can't really use Mike
Well,
because it would be kind of like the Stranger Things game or the Stranger Things update where they had to use um Steve and
Nancy.
Nancy because they were older.
Well, so funny. Um, there's two actors that appear in all five movies.
Mm. I know this one. I know this one is going to be Reggie
Yep.
and this guy. This guy right here. The I'm pointing. I got yeah, yeah, that guy right there in the middle of the screen. Boop,
Yeah,
the
that guy.
tall man, right?
Yep. Angus Scrimm actually passed away not long after finishing the filming of Ravager. He died in
Was the mo-
he it was finished. He passed away sadly in January, the year it came out, which I believe was 2016. He passed away January 9th, but the movie came out in October of the same year.
really? Oh my god.
So he was actually in all five Phantasms, and so was Reggie. Gotta love it.
He,
Pretty
wow, he was 89 years old.
filming. I okay, so let's talk
Scrim,
let's talk about the tall man.
his Scrim stood approximately 6 feet 4 inches.
It's a tall
To
man.
appear to appear to appear well, I'm 6 foot. I'm like 6'1", 6'2", so it's not that big. Um, to appear even taller when playing the tall man, he wore suits that were several sizes too small and platform shoes.
Make yourself look even taller.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about the tall man really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I It's one of the reasons why I love this movie. I love this character. I think he has enough mystery about him to keep him interesting. And the way this actor played it was great. Like super creepy, super, you know, um mysterious and different, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
when he came after you, you were genuinely scared. Now it could be the fact that he walked with freaking purpose, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
especially that scene where Mike sees him walking through the town, and I mean, he's got a strut. He's got a strut going on.
Okay. Pause for a second, Jerry.
Why are
Pause
you
for a
holding your
second.
mic like that?
I don't know. I've just been holding it. It seems like I'm trying different things. You know, I could set it down on the table in front of me, but then I kind of have to lean over. So I figure if I'm holding it by the base, it's a little bit easier to
I
sit the way I
hold,
want to.
I hold my mic near my face.
Shut up, Jeremy. You put your mic down. You got a nice little setup. I'm cramped in here in the bedroom on a TV tray and a laptop. Okay, you cut me some slack. Okay, I just want to everyone out there in the stream, everyone out there watching. It's not gonna do anyone any good when you're listening to it on Spotify or any of those third-party stations. But um, what is your guys' favorite like scene from the movie? If you were there with us on movie night, you should have answers or whatnot. If you haven't seen the movie, then just put in Tall Man. The Tall Man's your favorite part of the movie. He
I
is a very interesting villain.
I actually have two favorite scenes.
Oh, Jimmy, you have two favorite scenes. What's your favorite? I already told you mine. Mine was the whole Big Brother out in the cemetery and the kid running past. Oh,
So
that's my favorite
the
one.
first one is his strutting through town, and he stops like just past the ice cream truck.
Oh yes, and that ice cream scene where it's like slow mode. It's like Mike's watching him from across the street, and Reggie is like he's not even like focused in the camera. He's just like up front. He's just opening up the back of the ice cream truck and like all that cold cold chill comes breezing out or whatever, and the tall man turns, stares, and he goes, "Ah," and then he turns and proceeds to walk off like ice cream just.
Look like Chunk from Goonies.
He was hungry for some ice cream. No wonder he was trying to chase Reggie down the entire time.
And then the second favorite was when they first show the spheres and it attaches to the caretaker's head. It just like it sticks and it just goes wee. And it just like it's just like psst, psst, psst.
It starts spraying. Ironically, those like little steel balls or whatever, they're featured in like a lot of promo stuff, the posters, trailers, and they only appear like twice in the movie, I think.
This one they do, but I do know in the future ones like they become more prevalent.
What are they used for? That's my biggest thing with this movie is that I know the stuff will probably be explained later, but in this movie, none of it gets explained.
So
who is the tall man? Don't care. Why does he have a teleporter with a bunch of Jawas on Tatooine? Who cares? What's with these glowing, what do they call them? Golden snitches flying around, drilling into people's heads. Who knows? Who cares? You know, it's just shut up and watch the movie. Is it horror or is it fantasy? You pick. We ain't telling you nothing. Not anything. Okay, you can continue. Jeremy rants over now.
Oh no! So basically, he controls them to protect the funeral home, just like the dwarves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so essentially, and I'm getting into the later movies here. Essentially, what the tall man does is he steals corpses from the cemetery.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He turns them into dwarfs, and the dwarfs are used as slaves in their realm.
Okay.
And he uses the dwarfs and the spheres to protect the funeral home so he can keep doing it. That's what those capsules in that room were that had the two prongs that led to the other world or to the other dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Those barrels that look like what Donkey Kong would throw at Mario are changing the dead corpses into dwarfs. And
that is very interesting.
And that's why when the hearse crashed and they pulled the hood off, that dwarf was the best friend from the funeral at the beginning.
Or like when the other or like in the other crashed hearse scene, when it just hit that tree or that power pole or whatever and exploded. Like it was made of nitroglycerin. Just
that's also why the scene when towards the end of the movie, after Reggie got stabbed and they end up finding him later, Reggie's like, "Hey guys," Mike's like, "Reggie, you ain't dead." No, and I ain't 3'2" yet either.
Wait, what? Did I miss the whole scene there?
So remember at the end when Reggie gets stabbed?
Mm-hmm. And he was filled with a delicious raspberry filling.
Yeah, that one. Not long, like after they do their whole bit, later they actually find Reggie again before Mike wakes up and realizes his brother's dead, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's kind of weird too.
It adds into the next movie, but they Reggie's like, "Hey guys," and he's like holding his stomach, and Mike's like, "You ain't dead." He's like, "No, and I ain't 3'2" yet either.
That's funny. Reggie's a fun character.
Man, I love our first introduction to Reggie is he walks over, he pulls up to their house, just grabs his guitar, walks on over, and it's just like.
Yeah, and then they start strumming on set.
"Boobity."
I mean, there was that foreshadowing with the tuning fork thing, because he was tuning his guitar or whatever, and he had the and then he touched it with his two fingers to stop it or whatever, and then when you cut to the scene where
The
they're in
portal.
with the portal in the funeral home, I even sat there watching. I went, "Hey, that looks and sounds like a tuning fork. I bet it's gonna go back to the thing where." Because it really focused on it. It was like focused on his fingers and that tuning fork all the way real close. And it was like, so, yeah. So I was like, I bet that's going to have something to do. Oh, yeah. Look at there it is. Foreshadow.
So Angus Scrim is not actually his real name.
What is his real name?
Lawrence Rory Guy.
Rory Guy.
Lawrence Rory Guy, which what people would refer to him in person. As Scrim explains it, he had to pick a stage name for when they would do plays off campus, presumably when he was in acting school, and chose the name Angus Scrim in case he was mentioned in reviews. Because I guess he wasn't allowed to he wasn't allowed to appear in plays off campus. So he picked a stage name for credit purposes.
He's got quite a library of films here.
Oh my god, so apparently the director actually said the alien dwarves bear a strong resemblance to the Jawas of Star Wars, but he actually designed the dwarves before episode 4 came out in 1977. So him and George Lucas just kind of had a similar idea.
About short people dressed up in brown cloaks.
Yeah.
So you're telling me they both...
Oh, I did it again. Hold on.
What did you do, Jeremy? What did you do?
Oh, nothing. The camera chopped
No one
us up
cares.
in half.
No one cares about the camera, Jeremy.
Everybody wants to see
Wait, hold on.
beautiful face.
Hold on. Nobody cares about the camera, boy.
There we go. Oh my god. So the scene where the tall man's reacting to the cold air coming out of Reggie's ice cream truck, the big question is he in agony or is he in ecstasy?
No, he liked it.
Scrim mentions it's very ambiguous. Thornberry mentions that's the way he reacts every time he opens his refrigerator.
Seriously. God, I think he liked it. He doesn't get a lot of cold on this planet, so actually, you know what? That would probably be me opening up like a freezer that big. Get that face. Yeah, because I hate the cold. Oh well, thank you guys. Nice likeness. I am tall. I can get hair like that if anyone wants me to try. And
part it sideways.
When I start walking around at work, I'm gonna walk like he does, and call everyone boy.
Boy. I don't think
you.
I don't think your boss Serge would like that too much.
What, if I call everyone boy?
Including him?
They'd be like loading trucks. They'd be like, "Hey, we got a truck done." I'd be like, "What was that line, Jimmy? Give me the line again."
The very end line?
Yeah, the very end line. You played a
good game, boy, but the game is over. Now you die. That was right before right before he jumped into a hole and had a bunch of boulders dropped on him.
Fakest looking boulders ever. When they fell into the hole, you can actually see where the hole was dug up, and it was like matted on the edges, like it was draped like a tarp, because the boulders were bouncing on the side of the walls were all wobbly. It's a product of the times. It's forgivable. It's not supposed to be perfect, and I think that's what makes this movie more enjoyable.
I think it is
If
too. Like especially his finger and the honey mustard.
I like
When he
I
chopped,
like I
or the
like his
big
brother.
fly.
The brother was like, there's nothing out here in the woods. There's nothing out here. Blah blah blah. Oh, they were jumping on the car. They knocked the car on the kid. And they were jumping on the car and making loud noises. Oh, I don't believe you. And then he's like, I got proof. He's like, what kind of proof? And he's got the little finger in the box, and he opens it. He goes, "Chick," and then he closes it again. Yeah, it's kind of wiggling, and it's getting that like that honey mustard, whatever. And he just looks at it for a second, closes the box, goes, okay, I believe you. You're not gonna question why your kid brother has a finger in a box. Not at all. Not even worry about. Not you ain't gonna worry about.
No,
I
man.
like how the tall man's hand was like stuck in the door, but it wasn't like squashed. It was just like, and he's like, and kind of got his finger lopped off. This, like, wow.
There was
Oh, this movie.
and then like I said, the big fly that took two
Whatever.
people
What?
to hold in a shirt. And Reggie's
What?
like,
Yeah.
"What's going on?"
That was some of the best grade A acting I had ever seen. Okay, guys, here's the scene. Here's what we want you to do. Okay, take this shirt and kind of hold it like you got some. We're gonna put like a ball or something in the end of it, so it looks like there's something in there. And then we need you to fling it around like it's a wild fly, a big giant fly. Think of like this movie's not out yet, but think of Jeff Goldblum as the fly in that thing and start swinging it around like it's trying to just get away from you. Okay, guys? And action. Perfect. That's what I like.
Do we need a retake? I felt like it was a lot of goofy. Nope, we're good.
Nope. You guys broke enough stuff around here. Carpenter guys gonna have to come back in here and super glue this stuff together.
Then they shoved it in the garbage disposal and turned it on, and they looked inside, and you could see his little face going, "Bah!" And it jumped out of the garbage disposal.
Crawled up in his hair. Ravenfire's got some good eyes. She said, if you notice the door trim had a part cut out of it behind his hand, so it allowed him to be squashed without harming his actual hand. That's why it could fit in that little crevice so well.
Practical effects.
Practical effect.
I don't think
Like
there
the
was
big-
any CGI in this movie.
Well, it was did they have CGI back then?
Probably not.
I mean, they had to have, because Star Wars had to have some sort of CGI. I mean, like the laser blasts.
True.
I mean, that could have been some sort of film work involved, but I'm pretty sure there. Jimmy, you gonna look at when CGI was created?
No.
What was the?
I'm gonna look
what was
up the budget of this movie, and that'll tell me.
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. CGI. I just want to see what the first movie that used CGI was.
Hey, that'd be interesting to know. Budget was an estimated $300,000. But you know what it
There it
grossed
is.
worldwide?
What?
Just shy of 12 million.
Oh, well, there you go, Jeremy. Okay. Before we do anything, I want to give this a shout out. Okay. CGI. What year? What? I'm not gonna tell you what the movie is yet. But what year was the first movie to use CGI in? You can go ahead and give me a year. Any guesses? Any guesses?
Let's say 72.
72. What? I'm going so far back, huh? Anyone else out there?
Do you want a movie too?
I mean, if you want to take a shot at a movie,
Can you tell me the genre?
I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, well, that helps out a lot. Yeah, but no, actually, I'm gonna go 74. I'm gonna go 74.
Dun, 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 dun. Had to be pretty soon.
80, really?
Yeah, 90.
1990.
Okay, here we go. The first feature film to make use of CGI was the 1973 Westworld.
I literally guessed both sides of that.
Yeah. Other early films that incorporated CGI include Star Wars Episode 4, which came out in 77, Tron, 1982, Golgo 13, The Professional, 1983, The Last Starfighter, 1984, Young Sherlock Holmes, 1985, and Flight of the Navigator, 1986.
I
The
can't
first
believe how close I was. Huh.
the first music video to use CGI was Dire Straits' award-winning Money for Nothing, 1985, whose success was instrumental in giving the process mainstream exposure.
Interesting.
I mean, yeah, because I'm thinking, Star Wars, they had to have used some sort of CGI, considering the fact that they had blaster bolts and stuff. I remember watching, because Dad had like uh the special edition Star Wars movies on like VHS, and they would give you like the behind the scenes stuff, and they always talked about like a lot of their stuff was practical. Like when you saw the scene where Luke Skywalker was going into Mos Eisley in the speeder,
Mm-hmm.
they pretty much just took, I guess, I think they said it was like Vaseline, and just kind of greased the film a little bit so it kind of smudged out the tires, so it looked like it had a force field or something underneath it that was keeping it afloat. But I'm always thinking you can't really do that with blaster bolts. So 1973 was the first time CGI was used in a movie. So there you go. Now, back to our regularly scheduled programming.
So apparently, the ball was only supposed to make one appearance early in the film, but it came off so well that they decided to add extra sequences near the end.
We got blown up.
By a shotgun.
That guy went Luke Skywalker on it like it was the Death Star. Just yeah, like I said, that thing's promoted in everything, pictures, trailers, and yeah, it was like used twice. It almost felt kind of underrated. Or is it overrated? It's overrated. But yeah, I trust your
Well, there was also this movie has apparently been cut a lot. There's a lot of original scenes that were cut out of the movie, but they made their return in 3.
Oh, okay.
So like there's going to be some scenes in 3 that we get to that are filmed just like this because it literally was filmed during this time.
Well, I mean, I think me and Ravenfire were talking about that. Yesterday we were talking about Metropolis. You ever you hear that movie, Jeremy?
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently, the original movie was like almost 3 hours. It was like 150 something minutes, something like that. And I was telling her about when it released, it got cut, and then it got cut again, and then it got cut again when it came overseas, and then it got cut some more. I think by the time they did kind of an 80s variation of it, it was down to like 80 something minutes, and then eventually it came back. They did a re-release of it like probably about 10 years ago, and most of the movie is kind of back where it's supposed to be. A lot of it's been still missing footage and stuff because of damage and just time and whatnot, but they've actually brought it back to about 100 and something minutes.
So this movie has actually won an award. It's actually won two.
Won awards?
It won the Special Jury Award at the Avoria's Fantastic Film Festival. In 1980, it was a nominee for the Saturn Award for the Best Horror Film at the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films. But in 2017, it won Best DVD/Blu-ray edition or release for Phantasm Remastered at the same one in 2017.
That's the one that I hosted that I ended up buying.
I have it on I have the Steelbook version of it.
I've got, because I got on the Amazon Prime and they were like, you got to rent it or you got to get it with a subscription. And I'm like, I'm under a subscription. And they're like, yeah, you still can't watch it. I'm like, so I went and bought it, and I ended up buying the remastered, which this is actually a movie I'd go back and check back out. So I'm kind of glad that I did buy it.
Good. I'm glad,
I can't say that for the later ones, but I don't know, like this one here is, hopefully the second one's just as good.
Apparently there's a game that goes around with people when it comes to this movie, and it's how many Dos Equis beer bottles can they count in the movie? Because apparently somebody on set had a sponsorship with Dos Equis, and they went to their house at one point and he had 50 to 100 cases of this beer in his garage, and they were drinking it all day, almost every day. Like there's talks about how they were drinking it for breakfast.
You? Guess that might have to be a game. We'll have to all get together and do like a drinking, take a shot every time you see a
Dos
Equis
bottle.
A bottle on screen.
So, IMDb rating, Jason. This is out of 10 with 39,000 votes.
So this is out of 10. Okay, everyone. Prep yourselves. We are now getting into our ranking systems now. Okay, so IMDb 0 out of 10.
Yep, and this is how I feel about our ranking systems. Just like the tall man outside of that ice cream truck.
Okay, for everyone who cannot see Jeremy at this point in time, he is making a really scrunched up face. He's breathing in real deep, like he's getting a whiff of something very, very good.
Ice cream.
Or something like dirty socks. I don't know. And oh Jesus, everyone's throwing numbers in. We ain't even got to that point yet. Okay, I'm gonna go with Ravenfire on this one. I'm gonna go with a 6 also.
Funny thing, PJB Dawes the closest at a 6.6. But if this was The Price is Right, she'd be wrong.
6.6.
Yep, it got a 6.6 out of 10.
Ravenfire said this. I still think he was smelling the boy from across the street.
No.
I mean, that's what I thought originally. Like,
no,
he just got a whiff. Maybe it was the whiff of the boy mixed with the ice cream that created this.
He smelled the rocky road.
Rocky road. Ruth, baby, Ruth.
Hi, I'm Chunk.
God, we're not this. I think a portion of this movie did feel kind of Goonish for me, but then again, I think it just had something to do with Mike. I'm watching what movie we were watching. I was like, this is very Goonies.
Oh, it was Oh my God. I think it was Silver Bullet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Silver Bullet had a very kind of Goonies feel to it. It was like Goonies versus the Wolfman.
Like there was some music playing, and we were just like, yeah, we could see them sliding down a water slide.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was that one.
Which
It
before
definitely
we
wasn't
get to
that.
Rotten Tomatoes, what did you think of the music in this one?
I thought it was interesting. I'm not gonna say it's like my favorite. I know it does like I think it's what creates the atmosphere for this movie because this I've said it once, I'm gonna say it again, this movie's weird, okay? And it doesn't make a lick of sense for me yet. But I think that's the idea. Because even in the trailer, they're like, is it horror or is it fantasy?
Phantasm.
And they don't
Yeah.
does that say what they say right afterwards?
Yep.
They're like, is it horror or is it fantasy?
Phantasm.
Phantasm.
Jesus.
So and with the ending of this movie where Mike wakes up or whatever and he's
Being
in
held by Reggie in his arms.
yeah, he's being held by Reggie and come to find out Mike's actually dead. He died in a car
Jody.
accident. Jody, what did I say?
You said Mike. Mike's the little brother.
Whatever. One of them died. The older brother died. He got to finally lay down in the graveyard. But whatever. And he's like, yeah, Jody died like a couple of years. Was it a couple of years back or a couple of months back? Whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, he's like, yeah, we're gonna go hit the road for a couple weeks. It'll be great. We'll get out of our heads or whatever. And then Mike walks to the bedroom, and the tall man's waiting for him. So it makes you kind of think, it's like, what is this? Is this whole entire thing in his head? I'm pretty sure they'll explain it later. But if this was like a by itself movie, like there was no sequel to it or anything like that, the reason this movie makes no sense and is still fun to watch is because you don't know if it's a real thing or if it's a, this kid's just kind of going crazy type thing. So I think it kind of works in this sense. If
Well,
this was like,
I was going to say,
what is
well,
that?
it's time for the Rotten Tomatoes.
Got a bug in here.
Bzz. Is it the big fly? Get the garbage disposal ready.
But if you see my hair, go get that little crawly thing crawling in my hair. Then you'll know what it is.
So, Rotten Tomatoes. Scale of 1 to 0, or 0 to 100, Jason. The tomato meter.
Tomato meter. All right, people, start throwing in your guesses. 1 or 0 to 100. That's what we're looking at. 0 to 100. This is critics, though. Ugh. This is critics. So they're going to be a little bit harder. I'm going to go with. Oh, well, since it was winning awards and being nominated, I'm going with at least like a 77.
Ravenfire is 67.
And Ravenfire enters 67.
Stop that now.
Stop what?
I don't know.
I don't know. You tell me. Don't tell me to stop. Don't tell me to stop if you don't. Oh, 68. Oh, look at the Price is Right going on over here. Trying to undercut. Oh, it's actually 69.
Nope,
Yeah.
it's 74.
Ooh. Wait. Yeah, I was 3 off, so I win. I'm closest.
74. So some of the reviewers, some of them said like a fairly artful blending of traditional horror stuff and science fiction. Phantasm will not be remembered as a masterpiece of the horror genre, but it sustains a gosh, hokey, desperately improvisational charm.
That is, you took the words right out of my mouth. This movie is very artful. It was kind of the way I was thinking. I couldn't find the right word, but artful would be. It feels more like an art film than an actual like horror film. So Thank you for that, Jeremy. That's okay. So moving on, and thank you guys. Thank you.
And now the audience score.
The audience score. I'm gonna give this one. Oh man, I'm gonna give this one an 80.
An
A big old
80.
8. A big old 8-0.
So it's interesting while we wait, since you've already locked in your answer.
Hit that button. Hit that buzzer.
Meh. The audience was less than the critics on this one.
Oh, what?
At a 67%.
But wait, what?
The audience score was 67%.
Didn't even let them get their times in.
Oh, I called the buzzer. Meh.
You say 67? Ravenfire, say 67. Put in 67.
Try 8.
No, not 68. 67. Do 67. Hurry. Punch it in.
She ain't paying attention to you.
She put in. Oh, she already put 67 in. She put 67 in higher up. That was her first guess.
Yeah, for the
the
tomato
critic
meter.
one. And since she didn't answer now, it defaults to 67. So she wins this round.
Well, PJB Doll said they suck. So the audience apparently sucks. But I can
played
see
a good game, boy. The game is over. Now you die.
That's what we Jason, I'll be Reggie for Pensacon and you be the tall man.
No one's gonna get what we are.
No one's gonna know.
No one's gonna know. They're gonna be like, "What is this weird old guy walking around in tiny clothes?"
We'll put some thing on you that causes the little balls to spin.
No, what we'll do is we'll just put like these like little thin pieces of wire with the balls on top, and we'll just walk, and they'll just kind of bob behind me. Oh wait, I gotta walk with a purpose.
Yeah, you gotta strut your stuff. Gotta flail them bow arms back and forth. Oh god, I hope he continues to walk with purpose. I don't remember if he does or not.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Well, it'd be a change of character if he didn't.
All right, we'll see what happens. But that's all the time we have for tonight. We'll see y'all next week.
That's it, folks. But that's all, folks.
We'll see y'all next week, same time, same place, because we're no longer in Maine. I don't know where we're at anymore. I don't know where this movie takes place.
I can hold on. Let me take a look right before we get off of here. Let me just take a quick old look here. Let's see what we got. Morningside Cemetery. Yeah, it doesn't really say anything. I think that's the thing about it, is this movie can really take place wherever you want it to take place. So.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we will see y'all next week, like I said. And on Monday, we'll be watching Phantasm 2.
The sequel. Phantasm Returns.
Everyone stay safe.
That's not what it's actually called, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, stay safe out there, everyone.
We'll see y'all next week.
Next week.
Phantasm, the delusion of a disordered mind, a phantom, a spirit. a ghost. For 10 years, the secret of Perigord Cemetery has remained a mystery. Now, 3 innocent people are about to discover the ultimate evil.
You think that when you die, you go to heaven. You come to us.
We've got to warn people. This summer, the ball is back. Phantasm 2.
It's only a dream.
It's a dream. No, it's not.
Rated R.